It is the best time of the year, guys. No, it's not because of Christmas. Maybe if you're 5 years old or if you're a college football casual, but it's bowl season and the final normal bowl season, because starting next year in the 12-team playoff, bowls are really going to lose meaning. So I'm so excited to see all of this year's matchups. It's going to be a really fun time. Bowls are my favorite because we really get to see which conferences are the best. All season fans talk about, well, we have less wins because we were in a better conference, yada, yada, yada. It's all this yapping, but when bowl season comes around, we really get to figure out who's good and who's not. In this video, I will be giving my predictions for all the bowl games, not just the New Year's Six, but ones that I find important and intriguing. So it's completely subjective. If your team gets left out, I'm sorry. You can cry about it in the comment section. Stick around to the end of the video to see who I have winning the college football playoff semifinals. And also make sure to comment down below which picks you agree with me on and disagree with me on. If you're new, make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on another great upload like this. I'm Saturday Shenanigans, and I post 3 college football videos a week along with YouTube shorts every single day. I'm really putting in that work for you guys. Subscribe and join the best family in college football. All right, let's go. Starting off with the Quick Lane Bowl, Bowling Green at 7-5 versus a 5-7 Minnesota. Wait a minute, don't you need to be 6-6 to reach a bowl game? Absolutely, but this was a weird year where there wasn't enough bowl eligible teams and they had to pick the best academic team to fill that spot. You're probably thinking, you said you were going to pick the most intriguing matchups. The reason why I picked this matchup is because it's hilarious. A team that should not be in there. Minnesota played in the worst division in college football. The Big Ten West was so weak and they still couldn't get 6 wins. They're playing against an average MAC team, that's Bowling Green, but Bowling Green has a lot more to play for. Minnesota's going to come out sluggish. They should not be there. Minnesota's favored by 3.5, but I got Bowling Green with the plus 3.5. Pick Bowling Green to win. They're going to get the job done against a Big Ten team. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Kansas at 8-4 versus UNLV at 9-4, and I love this game. I'm absolutely torn in picking this because both of these programs are on the rise and they're underdogs, so I root for them. Kansas is favored by 13, which is absolutely crazy. I think that's a little too much, but I do think Kansas is going to win the game due to QB experience. Kansas has Jalen Bean, redshirt senior. He beat Oklahoma this year in one of the biggest Jayhawk games in a long time, and UNLV as a freshman, I just think they're not ready. They're a good team, but they're a few years away from really competing in the group of 5 in the Mountain West, so I got Kansas in this one. Next up is the Duke's Mayo Bowl, North Carolina at 8-4 versus West Virginia at 8-4. This is the battle of the great conferences. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being sarcastic. It's the ACC and the Big 12, 2 of the worst Power 5s. West Virginia is favored. That's probably because of Drake May for North Carolina. He's sitting, getting ready for the NFL draft. He's going to be one of the top picks. They're starting freshman Connor Harrell at QB. West Virginia's favored, but I'm going with North Carolina in this one. They have Amarion Hampton, one of the best running backs in college football, completely slept on. He will compete for Heisman in 2024. I think they're just going to give him the rock, and he's going to get the job done. North Carolina wins this game. It's an upset. This one is absolutely criminal. It's the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, number 15 Louisville at 10-3 versus a 7-5 USC team. Let's just think about this. USC played horrible this year, wasn't even close to winning their conference, and Louisville just came off the ACC championship game. So this is complete disrespect for Louisville. I feel like they should be playing in a much better bowl game. I've made a million videos on this USC team and how bad I think they are, underperforming, no defense. Lincoln Riley is a fraud as a coach. I'm going to throw him up all on screen, but you know who I got in this game. Louisville's favored by 7.5. I think they win by at least 2 touchdowns. USC has no business playing in this game. Come on, this is just horrible. Next up is the Tax Act Texas Bowl. Oh my gosh, that's a tongue twister. Whoever came up with that, I'm going to come to your house. That was very hard to say. I think I stuttered it about 25 times, but we're going to get into it. Texas A&M at 7-5 versus number 20 Oklahoma State at 9-4. This is very similar to last game because you have a team that was in their conference championship and then you have a team that's 7-5 that shouldn't be there. However, it's very tricky to pick. I'm going to flip the script. Texas A&M does have the most bowl game departures with people hitting the portal. They do not have their starting QB. Jalen Henderson will be making the start. But that being said, Oklahoma State is one of the most inconsistent teams in college football. They lost to South Alabama to start the season. They lost by 30 to UCF, and then they got blown out by Texas in their conference championship game. I know they got Ollie Gordon, but how could you pick this team? Plus Texas A&M playing in the SEC, they played a much harder schedule, so that record means more. A&M is favored by 2, which is absolutely crazy in most people's eyes. They also have a 76% chance to win according to ESPN. I'm rolling with that. I got Texas A&M. We have a ranked matchup for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Number 18 NC State and number 25 Kansas State. NC State at 9-3, Kansas State at 9-4. Kansas State had a very strong finish to the season. They're underrated. They lost a lot of close games. They were so close from reaching the Big 12 title game. They were in the race until the very last week. NC State is much of the same. They finished the season very hot. However, they have the 3rd most bowl game departures. It's a complete toss-up. I really don't know who to go with in this game, but Kansas State has more certainty. I'm going to go with Kansas State. They're favored by 2.5. I would take that. The Valero Alamo Bowl, number 14 Arizona at 9-3 versus number 12 Oklahoma at 10-2. This bowl game has a huge spot in my heart growing up as a West Coast football fan. Now, there's a distinct difference in this game. This is a classic example of who wants to be there. One team wants to be there, which is Arizona. Their program is on the rise. Just a few years ago, they were a one-win team. They are excited, and this bowl game means a lot to them. And now you have Oklahoma. They had college football playoff serious aspirations in the middle of the season. They had 2 tough losses, and now they don't want to be there. They're without Dylan Gabriel, their quarterback left. They have opt-outs. They have transfer portal guys. I think Arizona wins this game. They're favored by 2 just because they want to be there, and getting a 10-win season would mean so much to those fans in Tucson. Arizona gets the job done. Next up is the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, number 22 Clemson at 8-4 versus Kentucky at 7-5. And if you look at the conference affiliations, you're going to go with Kentucky just because they play in the SEC. However, this was a very weird year for Clemson. They started out 4-4, which is unheard of for a Dabo Swinney team. Swinney went on a podcast and absolutely blasted his own fan base, went off, was talking all this crap about him, which I don't even know what that was all about. But Clemson finished the season winning 4 games, so obviously that worked. They've been super hot. They beat a ranked Notre Dame team, and although this is not a Clemson year that we're accustomed to seeing, I think they're finishing the season with a lot of momentum. They're going to carry that, and they're going to win against Kentucky. They're favored by 4.5. I would take them with that 4.5. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, number 19 Oregon State at 8-4. My Oregon State Beavers, yes, I'm an Oregon State student, versus number 16 Notre Dame at 9-3. So, you think I'm going to pick the Beavers, right? Absolutely not. Our team is falling apart. We've had everyone leave in the transfer portal. We lost our coach. This program is in shambles right now. I'm not afraid to admit it. Notre Dame's favored by 6.5. Bet on that all the way. I got Notre Dame by 2 touchdowns. We're starting Ben Branson, who did great last year. He went 8-1 as a quarterback, but he is overall not that talented. He was our third string guy. Childs hit the portal. DJ hit the portal. Come on. Notre Dame's winning this game. I hate to say it. I'm a true fan. I'm a Beaver fan, but come on. I'm being realistic about this one. This is my favorite bowl game. That's not a college football playoff semifinal. It's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Number 9 Missouri at 10-2 versus number 7 Ohio State at 11-1. This game's going to be so close. Ohio State's only favored by 0.5 point, and I thought the exact same thing. So I asked you guys, my subscribers, who you thought would win in my YouTube community poll, and the results were extremely close. Now, this is another example of one team having something to play for and one team not. Missouri, this is their biggest game since about 2007, so they really want to be there, and they're going to be motivated. While you have Ohio State at 11-1, they're pretty much playoffs and beat Michigan or bust, and they busted this year. They lost to Michigan, and they did not reach the college football playoff. Ryan Day gets a lot of hate from his own fan base. They have not announced the opt-outs for this game yet, but we expect a lot by Ohio State. Also, no Kyle McCord at starting quarterback for OSU because he transferred to Syracuse. They're going to have Devin Brown fill his shoes, so there's a lot of questions. I think Mizzou wins this game. Another New Year's 6 game, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 11 Ole Miss at 10-2 versus number 10 Penn State at 10-2. These are very similar teams. These teams are good, but they were not able to compete with the big dogs in their conference. Ole Miss got embarrassed by Alabama and also Georgia. Penn State did not look great against Michigan or Ohio State. So I like this matchup. Both quarterbacks are playing. This one's going to be a very good bowl game. Ole Miss did play tougher competition in the SEC, so I'm going to roll with them. And also, Jackson frickin' Dart, my favorite college football quarterback. This guy's got absolutely so much sauce on and off the field. He's a great quarterback. He can run that system for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. I got Ole Miss. Penn State's favored by 3.5, but Ole Miss in an upset. Jackson Dart's going to put 5 touchdowns on your head. I'm not biased, I swear. The Capital One Orange Bowl, number 6 Georgia and number 5 Florida State. Thank the heavens. We will finally be able to hear the Florida State fans stop crying because they are going to get trampled by Georgia, and it will completely prove why Florida State should have never been in the college football playoff anyways. They're 13-0. They played in a weak ACC. They're on their third string quarterback, and Georgia is a great team. They've won 29 straight. They had that one slip up against Alabama, but come on. SEC and ACC, no competition. Georgia's going to run them out of the building. They're favored by 14.5. I would go balls on the walls and take that. The joke of the New Year's 6 bowl games, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, number 23 Liberty at 13-0 out of Conference USA, mind that, and number 8 Oregon 11-2. Their only 2 losses against the number 2 team, Washington Huskies, and they were just by a couple hairs. This game has no business. Oregon is one of the best offenses in college football. They are going to put up 40, maybe even a 50 piece on Liberty. Liberty, congratulations on your undefeated season in the Conference USA. You do have a great quarterback, Caden Salter, but you are not even close to Oregon. Oregon should be playing against a Georgia, a Missouri, or an Ohio State. That would only be fair. That would only be great to see. They should be rewarded for their great season, but this one is not even going to be competitive. Come on. But I understand some team has to play the Group of 5 representative, but it's very sad for Oregon, who was so close from reaching the college football playoff, that they had to play Liberty. Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. This is very funny because the Citrus Bowl used to be its own thing with a different brand name, and the Cheez-It Bowl was sponsoring another bowl that would sponsor like 6 and 6 teams, but this is a ranked matchup, number 17 Iowa and number 21 Tennessee. Tennessee, 10-3 for Iowa, 8-4 for Tennessee. And I just made a video. My last video was about Iowa, the worst 10-win team of all time. Yes, this team has no offense. The over-under is 36.5 for this game. And Tennessee is going to prove why Iowa was playing in the worst division in college football. No hate for Iowa, but come on. They had an absolute fraudulent season. Tennessee wins this game easy. The first college football playoff semifinal, number 4 Alabama and number 1 Michigan in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. Michigan is the big dog right now. They can beat you in so many different ways, through the run, through the pass, through the play action, on both sides of the trenches. However, I'm going with Alabama in this one just because they're so hot, and you cannot bet against Nick Saban. Jalen Milroe has really found his footing, and after that loss against Texas, they've looked like one of the best teams in the country. They just beat Georgia, who had 29 straight wins, and look at it like this. You have Nick Saban, who's amazing in the playoffs, one of the greatest college football playoff coaches of all time, versus Jim Harbaugh, who's 0-2 in the playoffs and cannot win bowl games. Who do you have in that one? Who's more trusted? I'm going to go with Alabama. Finally, the All-State Sugar Bowl, number 3 Texas and number 2 Washington. Now, I said in a previous video, I would love to see Alabama and Texas in a rematch in the national championship. However, what I want and what I think is going to happen is two different things, and Washington is going to win this game. The reason why is that Texas has a great run defense. They can stop Jalen Johnson, but their secondary will not be able to stop this passing attack. Michael Penix is going to pick them apart. You have a Dunze, you have Polk, you have McMillan. You just have so many weapons out there that are going to run wild. Texas does have the advantage in the trenches over Washington, but overall, I think Washington wins in a super high scoring battle, and they get the job done. It's going to be Alabama versus Washington in the College Football Playoff National Championship. Now, I'm not going to tell you who I think wins that because I'm going to make a full video once the national championship becomes set in stone, and you guys are going to want to check that out. As always, thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Make sure to subscribe to join the best family in college football. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon.